As you know, I help women to develop a normal and healthy relationship with food when they're struggling with disordered eating and binge eating. And a big part of the work that we do with clients is finding emotional uses of food. And clients move through a program that we have alongside additional help, but there is an additional resource which I've just put into the program, or I'm adding, for clients to help them to discover other roles that food might be serving for them. And so I wanted to put this here on YouTube as well, because I think that it might be helpful. So I hope you find it useful, and just ignore any bits that are referring to the program because that won't make any sense. I've just spoken with a client on the topic of emotional eating. Something very interesting came up for her that she has noticed recently, and so I thought it'd be important to add for consideration as an addition. The list of needs that we introduced for body image more specifically, for this client, she was scoring low on a few of these, and what she has come to notice is that when her community and sense of belonging started to grow almost unintentionally, because she developed some friends and then those friends pulled her out into community, what she relayed just now was that, and these were her exact words, that feeling that I've been looking for through food, I discovered in a very real way by being part of this community and having this sense of belonging in this specific way. And those feelings for her were satisfaction, joy, content, and valued and confident. And I asked her which of these feelings did food used to give you, but in a less fulfilling way, and that was satisfaction and joy. And as we went through it, for her specifically, I was saying that this could be interpreted as, oh, food was trying to meet that need of connection and belonging and community. And that might not be an accurate way of looking at it, even though by having community and belonging and connection go up in this way, and really it was satisfaction, joy, value, feeling valued and confident was going up, even though as that went up, her desire for food, kind of outside of physical hunger, which was strong for her and frequent for her, started to come down. Even though that was the case, I asked her, was it that food was meeting this need for you previously of connection and community? Or was it that you had a need for satisfaction and joy, and as you started to get those more of those emotions through a different means, you just sort of automatically started defaulting to the area which gives you more of that, which for her was seeing her friends and being part of this community and having a sense of belonging. I asked her which one resonated with her more, and she said the latter. But the interesting part is that she didn't know that if her sense of belonging and community went up in this specific way, that it would have this impact. She didn't know it would allow her to feel like this. In fact, she referenced having social anxiety, and so for her, the idea of going out and being part of the community and having this belonging, for example, probably was the last thing that sounded satisfying and enjoyable to her. Sometimes clients find out what roles food is serving for them outside of, nourishment, for example. Sometimes they find that out by reflecting on times when they want to eat outside of physical hunger and wonder then in the moment, what do I feel like I'll miss out on if I don't eat this? Or am I feeling a particular way? Am I trying to block, soothe, or enhance this? Sometimes it's discovered there, and sometimes it's discovered seemingly by accident, by simply noticing, oh, I've had less urge to eat outside of physical hunger. And that's interesting. Why is that? And then discovering the role that food was meeting that way. But for her, it was very apparent when it started happening, because she recognized it almost immediately. She noticed the feeling, the emotional state, the feelings almost immediately as, oh, this is what I hope to get when I eat. And another story of this with a client pops into my mind on this topic. Well, the same thing happened with her with yin yoga. She went to a yin yoga class just randomly, and she came back and she said, that was the feeling. That was the feeling I've been trying to get through food. And for her, it was a different emotional state. I can't remember quite exactly what it was, but it doesn't really matter. I think it was peace or stability or calm or something like that. But she said she knew it. That was it. That's the feeling. And importantly, in both of these cases that I'm referencing, it wasn't a case that they'd found something to replace food with. What they discovered was that food had been there to sort of act as a nicotine patch of sorts for real experiences and emotional states and feelings which they weren't experiencing in their life anywhere else. And food kind of did that job okay-ish, enough to come back. And once they had those feelings in another area genuinely, in a fulfilling way, then the desire to go and eat just sort of dissipated, if that makes sense. So I'm leaving this here just sort of for consideration, not really with a practical tip to go away with, just as a point of reflection, if it'd be helpful for you. And also in the understanding that these clients were further along in the program and gone through different modules as well, which means that they were out trying new things and out doing more things, and they developed more mini skills to support them in doing that. That's also just to be aware of, because again, the aim so far is not move away from emotional eating. I just always want to make that caveat, or stop emotional eating. That's not the aim so far. Something that might be interesting, if you want a practical takeaway for this, is if you, separate from eating, separate from making this about food or moving away from emotional eating, what you can do is you can have a look at the emotions wheel or an emotions chart and go through and write down emotions that you want to experience more of. The ones that are most important to you, that really resonate in here. So not the ones that you think that you should have more of, but the things that you, if you're being really honest, you want to experience more of at this particular point in your life. And you can narrow it down to maybe 5 and do this every day, because we're changeable beings, right? Do this every day. And after a week or so, take the ones that come up the most often. And then you could start to notice as you go about your day, just notice how you feel and notice when these feelings come up, if they come up. Notice when you experience them. What are you doing when you experience them? And it'll be interesting if you discover that nothing really comes up that allows you to feel these emotions. That would be interesting in and of itself. It'll be interesting to see if you experience any of these emotions even in a dulled way through eating, or anything to do with your relationship with food or body image. And it will also be interesting if you notice other things outside of food and changing your body that deliver these emotional states that you might want to build on. And just to see where it goes, not with an end goal of maybe it will stop, maybe it will help me to eat less, right? Not with that end goal, but just as a self-discovery tool and point of interest for you, just to see where it goes. Because in my opinion, it could only really be a positive and helpful thing to do, in my opinion, regardless of the impact that it has on your relationship with food, if any. If you found this video helpful and you'd like to hear some lessons and reflections from clients who are developing a healthy relationship with food, so things that clients have learned have been really helpful and valuable in their journey of developing a healthy relationship with food, if you want to learn from them some thoughts that they've had, then I've made a video speaking about that specifically, where I'm literally sharing some of the lessons that clients have learned, hopefully because it would be helpful for you on your journey as well.